Go ahead, Charlie. And we take a moment as he lights the candle that shows the way for the minister that is manifesting themselves right here and now, saying, I wish I was in Redding. Well, here, we're right here. Follow the light. Follow the light. So welcome, everyone. I'm Reverend Sue in service today, and we have our beloved Dalton to start us off. So open your hearts now to his music.
Beautiful. Gratitude, love, loyalty, and justice, beginning with ourselves and continuing with our brothers and sisters. We will respect our creation as the symbol of our love, communion with the one who created us to the eternal happiness of humanity.
I never want it to end. I could listen forever. So once again, good morning. As you're all finding your seats, we're going to take a moment to wave at the camera as she races over there, and the children are going to come up. Good morning, everyone at home. Good morning. We are here, and here come our children. Thank you, Judy. I like that moment. Just sets the tone for the whole service. I want to thank Lindy for being here bright and early, and Janet is watching all of the people and ushering them in with great love. Ronnie and Doug took a day off for family. Sage, Amy, is, I've called her Sage after a class many years ago because she's so dang wise. And now it's kind of all through the place. But that's Amy, actually, on the board desk today, if you have any questions. And while I'm mentioning that, the board desk, I was going to invite people. I hear all the time, I didn't know about Why didn't somebody tell us about? And so there's newsletters that go out, and if you're not on the mailing list for that or the email list for that, that's one way to find out. I send out an email blast each week, and if you want to be on that, let Amy know that your email address, and Lori will add you to that so you can keep updated. It's also on our website. Whatever we do is on the website. So, and then Diana Wolfstead makes these awesome, fun posters that are always fun on the bulletin boards to just wander through and imagine that you're joining everything. So, just want to put that out there to remind you. I'm going to invite Mary up. She wants to talk a little bit about the cards that we have on display today. This is regarding the sweetheart bags and the artwork of Charles. Mary?
Thank you. Good morning. I was so excited last week when I had brought 21 original art cards for Valentine's Day. They are done by Charles Patrick Smith, who was homeless here in Reading for many years, and he's in prison, and found out he's an amazing artist. And that there were so many people that went, they can't be all gone, can they? Well, I have over 190 pieces of his artwork, and I scan every one. So I took 5 of the Valentine's cards that I like the most and made a bunch of copies on white paper, and they, you know, in prison he kind of gets paper wherever he can. A lot of times it's gray or brown. But on white, they really pop a lot. They're just so pretty. So half price, because these are copies of original art, $5, and then the beautiful baskets made by the Bliss team. And I just hope you feel the love that Charles has. He said, "What does Valentine's Day mean?" I said, love. And he had to really work on that and find the love within his heart to make these. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
You know, that's the sweetness, adding that personal touch to these cards. And Mary's done such a beautiful job. Her publishing company she runs is Summer Breeze. Summer Breeze? Yeah. And so she's collecting the part of the donation and gathering these funds for him when he gets out of prison and has his new life. So all your love will be a part of his new life. So that's an awesome thing that we're doing here. Thank you, Mary. And another announcement about Mary, I could have just made her do these. She has the Essence of Science of Mind class today, starts at 11:15. You go through the office into the meeting room that there's a table in there, and she'll meet you there, and then she'll talk about the essence of our teaching, and this is one of 2 meetings that you'd come and attend if you want to become a member at our center. So she'll tell you all about that at 11:15. The men's group and women's groups are meeting tomorrow, even though it's Valentine's Day. But have an early dinner, romance all you want, and then come join the men and the women here. The women especially are going to have some fun making. We're going to have a discussion of heart to heart, and we're making a collage, a special collage that you take home with you. So that'll be an adventure. The SOAR, speaking of adventure, SOAR, the Spirit of Adventure Renewed is what that stands for. They are meeting February 19th, this coming Saturday, to hike Turtle Bay trails and discover some of the new museum exhibits and have lunch at that wonderful little mosaic restaurant and visit the Carter House Gallery. Full day. But Cher needs to know if you're going to be coming, so you can get her phone number from either Amy or on the website. And then the final announcement is Grace of Aging Sage Workshop with my Shirley Wade, practitioner here, and myself, and that is going to be from 9 to noon. And this is going to focus on some of the portals of awareness that we have as we go through, at this stage of our life, some of us here, the aspect of aging and moving through this time period with bold confidence is how it's expressed. And especially what we're doing this next time for some of you that are caregivers, there is a whole little bit about that in there too. So very informative time that we'll gather together on the last Saturday of this month. And that's that. Is there anybody new visiting with us today? I don't think so, and I want to welcome some of the people I haven't seen for a while. I can't stop staring at you, but happy that you're here. But you usually sit. I'll get over it. All right, so let's see. Now that's all of that. We get to go into the more formal part of our time together today, and I'm so excited to have Reverend Kat Cox share with you her wisdom and her way with spirituality. And so she'll be coming up after we do the formal treatment. But you also need to know about her beloved husband, Jonathan. He's the one that bought $200 worth of the raffle tickets and won. Yeah. That's this lovely man over here, just very generous of heart. And in that generosity, he gave one of those winnings to one of the friends here because that person he knew really wanted it. So just a heart that just keeps on giving. So thank you for that. Reverend Kat's going, it's all about me. Oh, all right, it's all about you. Now, she is a ordained, as she introduced herself a little bit last week, she's an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister. And some of you might have misunderstood because Charlie got some questions back, because her strength is specializing in conflict resolution, which benefits everyone, and that has a lot to do with nonviolent communication plus more. She's going to bring us some workshops on that, but some people tied that in that something was wrong with us. So we're good. We're good, okay? The new minister listening to this today, we're good. We're good. There's no conflict resolution that we need right now. So we've done good work. She's a native San Franciscan, and she's semi-retired here in Redding with her husband, Jonathan. And they found our center. They felt warm and welcomed here, and they are now friends of the center. So that's who you get to listen to her wisdom just shortly, if I'll get off the stage. Craig.
The reading this morning is from the Introduction to Living Buddha, Living Christ by Thich Nhat Hanh. The introduction is also by biblical scholar Dr. Elaine Padgels. In 1947, in Nag Hammadi region of Upper Egypt, a Bedouin nomad searching for birdlime fertilizer struck something under the earth. It was a sealed earthenware jar 6 feet high. The jar contained an astonishing number of ancient Christian gospels, including dialogues, conversations, and visions attributed to Jesus and his disciples. One of these was the Gospel of Thomas, which dates to 50 CE, some 20 years before the earliest of the New Testament Gospels were even written. According to the Gospel of Thomas, the living Jesus indeed offers access to God, but instead of claiming to be the only begotten Son of God, Jesus reveals that it is you who are the children of God. These ancient Gnostic Gospels, including the Gospel of Thomas, point beyond faith towards a path of solitary searching to find understanding of gnosis, knowledge. The Gospel invites the reader to discover that he is a twin of Jesus, and in it, Jesus states, "You will be called upon the one who knows himself. Whoever has not known himself knows nothing. But he who has known himself already understands the depths of all things." The Gospel of Thomas acknowledges the challenge of such an exploration. Let the one who seeks not stop seeking until he finds. And when he finds, he shall be troubled. And when he becomes troubled, he shall then become amazed, and he shall come to transcend all things. The gospel warns, too, that what is at stake in such an undertaking is one's deepest well-being. Jesus said, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Another Gnostic writing, the teaching of Sylvanus, also points the way. Knock upon yourself as if upon a door. Walk upon yourself as a straight road. If you work on that path, you will not go astray. And when you knock on that door, what you open for yourself shall indeed be open to you.
And as always, the sound of the bell invites us home. And as we enter the dwelling of the heart, we remember who we are. The heart always tells the truth. So as we recognize the divine as that one love, that one truth, that intelligence that inspires us and leads us, we humble ourselves to a place with reverent listening that we can deeply hear what is ours to hear, what is ours to do. And we recognize this God within, operating and moving and inspiring us with every breath, with every thought, with every action. So I give thanks for this message today as Reverend Kat brings forward some wisdom from her tradition and awakens our hearts to a new and deeper understanding. We are led into this space with great love, with great empathy and compassion for humanity. It is what the saying is when we truly bow our heads in the gesture of namaste. I bow to all of you, from my heart to yours, from your heart to mine. We are indeed one. Namaste, and so it is. Okay, Reverend Kat. Thank you, Judy. Welcome.
Good morning. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. I'm here with you this morning, hoping to help you live into bringing forth what is within. Reverend Sue had suggested that I start with a prayer, but we're going to move towards the prayer for the following reason. I consider that asking people to pray with you is quite an intimate request. It's an act of trust to allow someone to guide you in prayer. And I'm hoping that if we become more acquainted, I will have earned more of that trust. Because I think you all know what it is to be in a space where a prayer is being offered and it feels more like it's coming at you than something you want to allow to enter and move through you. I feel I would be remiss if I didn't mention the robe and stole. I'm aware that this is not what you usually see from this space. And I would be surprised if there isn't someone either here or listening at home, who when they see a clergy person in a robe and stole and clergy attire doesn't have a little bit of a twinge and a little bit of resistance. It's a tragic truth that there are many who have used the authority of being clergy and clergy garb to impose and in many ways earn the mistrust of people. But we're here to open to new experiences and new ways that divine life is moving through. So I thought I would tell you that what it means to me that I'm wearing my robe and stole, which I first wore at my ordination almost exactly 20 years ago, is that I am here to keep my ordination vow. And my vow is to do all I can to serve as a conduit of divine love in the world and to open you to seeing and experiencing yourselves as a conduit of divine love too. That's what it means to me. It also seems fair for me to take a moment to just locate myself theologically. What is this Unitarian Universalism? It's not known to a whole lot of people. These two liberal religions, the Unitarians and the Universalists, came together 60 years ago. They both go back to the Protestant Reformation 500 years ago. And they are so far on the liberal end of the Protestant bookshelf that they fell off and declared themselves a New World religion. At the center of Unitarian Universalism is a commitment which has been challenged many times, but to have no creed. There is nothing that everyone must agree together is the nature of ultimate reality. So we're always in that exploration together. And for me, what I would most want you to know about the theological center that I come from and that my tradition comes from is three things. First, that all really is one. We hold that all really is one. And that means that Jesus is a brother, a spiritual master, not the spiritual master, a spiritual master, and calling us towards what we can be. And second is that love is the ground of our being, that it's our nature to come from love, that the divine is all and only love and is always seeking to move through us and help us to be all we can. And third is that, and I love this phrase, it does go back to the earliest years, 1560s of Unitarianism, revelation is not sealed. In other words, the wisdom and the presence of the divine are ever unfolding in our lives. It's not something that happened back then and now it's done. It's happening, it's happening, it's happening. Wisdom is unfolding and revelation is not sealed. And I love this thought that the grace of Holy Spirit is ever moving among us. At the end of my graduation talk, which everyone in my tradition gives, a little 3 to 5 minutes something, I said, "You are at this very moment in God's grace, whether you like it or not." It has pleased the universe, which I take to be another word for the body of God, and which I also take to have a hilarious sense of humor, to place me on flights next to evangelical ministers. It's happened 2 or 3 times. And they're usually in a collar, and I'm not. I don't wear that on a daily basis, so I certainly wear that when I'm doing some kind of social justice witness or hospital call, something like that. And we usually fall into conversation, and I can see the look in their eye. They're just wondering if they're going to be able to get somewhere with me. And I'm wondering something different. I'm not wondering whether one of us is going to convert the other. I assume that's not going to happen. What I'm interested in is whether we can have dialogue in the spirit of love. And what I'm committed to is that I'm not going to be moved off that center myself. I actually had one of these gentlemen say to me once, I think I need to stop talking to you because I feel myself kind of pulled in this direction, and so that has to be the devil. And I said, I'm very sorry you feel that way. Let me return to my book. And then, of course, he wanted to keep up the conversation. But the argument always comes down to this. They want to tell me that Jesus was the Son of God, and I want to say, well, yeah. That's not what I have any disagreement with. It's not that you think that Jesus was the Son of God, it's that you don't think that you are too. That's the only argument that I have. And the difference between you and Jesus, what I see, is that Jesus knew that about himself, and you don't. So my belief is that we are here to open to the ways in which the divine is in us, is moving through us, is ever present with us. So I'd like to share with you an experience that opened me to this in a startling and life-changing way. In some way, the whole rest of my life for over 40 years has been about unpacking this experience. And it actually happened during the birth of my second child. I have 3 children. And I don't actually know what it was that happened to my body, but I heard the nurse say, I'm not getting a pulse on her. And that's the last thing I heard, and I was out. And when I say that I was out, what I mean is I was somewhere else. I went from, I well remember this, I'd been in a lot of pain, I have natural childbirth, I'd been in a lot of rage, I'd felt like, hauling myself, running, screaming my huge self out of the hospital. And suddenly, I was in this altered state. And the first thing that I saw was that every person in the room was made of streaming particles of golden light. That's what I could see. It was as though their exterior were translucent, and what I could really see was the streaming particles of golden light in their body and in an energy body that looks exactly what you see in the mandala when you look at pictures of the Holy Family and similar. And as I looked around, doctor, nurse, baby's father, me, and even inside me, I could see the baby as this bundle of golden light. And I was filled with this incredible state of bliss. I felt a love flowing into me more powerful than anything I'd ever experienced. Indescribably powerful. And it was both the most personal love I'd ever known, because every instant of my life was totally known and I was completely loved. And it was also absolutely impersonal because it was for everyone exactly the same, like sunshine. I hadn't earned it. I couldn't get rid of it. There was nothing I could do to make that love go away. And I knew this at the deepest level of my being. And I thought, oh, I'm dying. Okay. And the sense of total safety is just indescribable. I felt utterly and completely safe. And then I had certain images come. And one image was as though my body was this energy hourglass and energy was pouring through it and moving through it. And I could cooperate with that or not. And one of those choices would be easier for me than the other. But the universe was going to have its way with me. And in that moment, something shifted, and I became able to cooperate with the labor. My body shifted, and I was able to do that. And another image was that I was this tiny little wood chip on an ocean at night, but I was also the ocean, and I was moving with the ocean. I was the chip, and I was the ocean. And I did have a sense of choice. I did have a sense that I could come back into my body or not. And it felt really safe either way. And all of life felt safe, and the baby felt safe. But something in me, and I can still recall this feeling of coming back into my body. And I'll never know how long this lasted. 2 seconds? 2 minutes? I really don't know. When I returned, I was able to cooperate, I was present, I was not fearful, and very shortly, my daughter was born. I didn't tell anyone about this for over 10 years. You know who had this same experience? The Apostle Paul. He was Saul. He had the experience where he had the vision. He's thrown off the donkey. He has this vision of Jesus. He's blinded. He goes home and he thinks about it for about 10 years. I didn't know that at the time. But I really didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know who to tell. I didn't know if I should tell anyone. But over time, it has become central for me to remember that that experience is the most real thing that's ever happened to me. And what I mean is, in the same way that when you wake up from a dream and you say, God, that seems so real, but now I'm back in waking life and that's what's real. Waking life feels like the dream to me, and what happened to me feels like what's real. So that feels like the deeper reality. And it changed me. I had not yet joined the Unitarian Universalist congregation, which I joined in the year after this. It oriented me towards wanting to understand how to live in the light of this reality. That's really how it oriented me. And that quest is still unfolding. In the light of this reality, how do I live? I feel like I came out of it knowing these two things, that the divine is love, that the divine is ever present to all and flooding love through us. And I've come to understand that as the divine moves into us, that we are at choice in whether we put up a dam and a barrier to that experience or whether we open to allow it in. And I want to be open to allowing it in. I want to be supporting others in opening to allow it. And I know that my own opening varies from time to time. It varies minute to minute through the course of a day. Sometimes it feels to me as though my energy body, which is about 18 inches out, and I've done other exercises and practices, breath practices since, to have some experience of the aura. I like to envision it as mesh that I can open in situations where I feel safe to allow more energy exchange with what's going on around me. And that if I'm in a situation where I feel less safe, less like I'm in the presence of people who are joining in that, then I want to be able to close that and just be kind of inside my energy body. But I always want to be open to being permeated by the divine. So these two questions have been with me. How do I stay connected, and how do I live? The interesting thing about how I stay connected that I've discovered is it's not at the conceptual level. It's experiential. And I have to do spiritual practices that put me in a place of openness to it. I need to meditate. I need to spend time in nature. I need to quiet my mind. These are among the spiritual practices that I do. One of the spiritual practices that's been very important to me for over 30 years is dream work. And I had the great fortune to study with and have a mentor who was one of the leading dream workers of all time. I think his books, Reverend Jeremy Taylor, a colleague and dear friend in Unitarian Universalism. So I studied with Jeremy, who was a Jungian in his approach to dream work. And so that is a way that I have opened to how the divine is flowing through, because all dreams do come in the service of health and wholeness. And I'm going to be offering a workshop in March with some some dream work tools. So that's an example of a spiritual practice. I can't tell you what spiritual practices are right for you, but I can tell you how they feel when they are. And how they feel is joyful, open-hearted, connected, alive, creative, curious, engaged. It's a feeling quality. Religions start because someone has a mystical experience and other people say, I want that. I want that experience of connection. And generally what happens is that there are some practices that the founder mystic had, some experiences that the founder mystic had. We can certainly go to Jesus and the Last Supper and the way that that has become centered in the Eucharist in many versions of Christianity, though not all. And the question isn't, is that a good thing to do or is that not a good thing to do? The question for any individual is, does it bring aliveness to you? Does it bring you into a sense of alive connection? And I've learned that when I'm in that state of connection, I feel open and I feel grounded at the same time. Art making is an important source of connection for me. Writing is often a source of connection for me. All of these are spiritual practices. So I want to invite you to think about, to know the God in you. What is it that makes you come alive? Howard Thurman, great theologian, said, "Ask not what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." So I want to invite you into that quest for what makes you come alive, and that's where you find your connection. As to how to live, I live to the best of my ability in the way that I feel guided. I remind myself again and again to come back into a sense of the oneness. It is for me a powerful spiritual practice to follow the words of Jesus to love your enemy. It's one of the hardest things we'll ever do. And we do have to begin with the enemy within, what we most dislike about ourselves. But that openness to how the divine is flowing through everyone, seeking to flow through everyone, whether they're receptive or not in the moment, has been a powerful teaching for me that came out of the mystical experience I told you about. So I aim to live with compassion, I aim to live with authenticity, and I aim to live with openness to the presence of grace. So I want to invite you into a spiritual practice right now, just to give it a try, and that is a breath prayer. A breath prayer is said silently, but with the breath, so it can only have a few syllables, and I'm just going to offer you one that I like very much. So you go into silence, and you allow yourself to come up with, you probably want to plan this in advance, a prayer that you can say on the in-breath and on the out-breath. And the one I'm going to suggest to you for today is breathing in, I receive, breathing out, I release all. Or you might like breathing in, I receive light, breathing out, I release all. So let's just do that for a minute or two together. And I'm just going to go into silence. And I'm just going to invite you to breathe. Breathing in, I receive. Breathing out, I release all. And once more. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Each of us is called to consider what is within us that wants to come forth. We're going to close in a moment with a prayer, but before, I want to give you an image. This image comes from Barbara Marx Hubbard, the futurist, and she was asked, what do you see, this is probably 20 years ago, what do you see as the direction that the world is going? And she said, things are getting worse and falling apart. Things are being born and coming together. And we all get to decide which part of that movement we're going to support, which part of that movement we're going to live in. Because whatever happens that is difficult, we can also see where there are openings, where there are possibilities, where love can be brought. We can always see it. So I want to invite you now. I'm going to lead us in prayer. I actually asked Sue to make some copies in case anyone would like this prayer. But as I offer the prayer, I want to invite you to close your eyes if you feel so inclined, and just be breathing into the golden light of your energy body and breathing out. Just breathe into the golden light and release out on the out breath. You are more than your physical body. You are also an energy body, and that energy body is always in exchange. So, Spirit of life, source energy of being, conscious love and light, creating, sustaining, transforming power in all, Holy One. We open our hearts and our energy bodies, breathing in, receiving light, breathing out, releasing all. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God, guide me in aligning my soul with spirit flowing into me, no matter what is arising. Guide us in coming into alignment before taking action, finding the inspiring, good-feeling thoughts that energize, enliven, and empower us. Guide us in trusting the process you are unfolding, present to each moment as it comes, releasing each moment as it passes. Guide and protect us from harming ourselves or others in anything we do. Help us to see and compassionately release any harmful coping patterns that are arising. Keep us conscious of divine love, surrounding us, holding us, healing us, infusing our being. May we give to you all that we are and all that we are becoming for your guidance and protection, asking only for knowledge of divine will and the power to carry it out. May I go shining in your light. May each of us and all of us together go shining in your light. May it be so.
In response to those two questions, I have two very brief musical thoughts. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace which passeth understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace which passeth understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. There's a field. I'll meet you there. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have everything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Oh, in this place of light and love, you can have everything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Such a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Oh, such a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
Did you write that one?
No, that's by Eddie Watkins, Jr.
So beautiful. So perfect for the message, Can I See the God in Me? So beautiful. And lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Inspiring and very peaceful. And it's the first Saturday in March that she's doing her workshop, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be exciting. I'm going to call the ushers forward, and we'll do our blessing of the offertory. So, Janet, did you pick your disciples? Here they come. Here come Nina, of course, Sherry, Helen, Jan. So as you prepare your offering, we sit in that consciousness of the divine gift, the divine giving, and join with me in the knowing that the overflowing power of divine life energy overcomes every obstacle and pours out into the world, blessing, prospering everyone and everything through me. Know that each one of us radiate blessings. We radiate creativity, prosperity, and loving service. Through our vision, the world is blessed. We are grateful for the abundance that's on the way and the abundance we currently have, and we share our good with joy. And so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Come on forward, ushers. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And we close this, thank you, Dalton. We close this with this affirmation that you repeat with me, and I'll start it. This day I recognize God and only God.
This day I recognize God and only God
as my substance, my supply, and my support.
my supply and my support.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, and thank you, ushers. I'll excuse them as they're walking their way. The Pataris are here, and that's the people I keep staring at. And then I got to thinking, you know what I think it is? It's because the 49ers lost. So there's people showing up today. Right? They don't give a hoot about the Super Bowl as much. Maybe, just maybe. That's good to see you. So we have one more song to close this special service today. Reminding you there are the gift bags out there and the wonderful cards. And look in the bookstore too. Lori has gone way out and had made the most beautiful, what is it called? Just a beautiful artsy new items to go buy and take off the walls so she has to start all over again. How about that, Miss Lori? Because I know she's listening. Anyway, the bookstore is awesome. I keep walking out with, bringing my checkbook and going, oh, yeah. So Charlie's trying to look, and I said, we don't need anything. We don't need anything. We don't need anything. He kept picking it up, and I said, I already bought it. I already bought that. But now I'm seeing this awesome globe in there, so anyway. I will offer it back to you. And just everyone have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, somebody told me there was some kind of larger than average bowl happening today. I didn't really understand what they meant. So this is it's a glorious day outside. We want to try to emerge from this very meditative, very lovely space into the beautiful summer sunshine that we're getting in the middle of February. Because there was a time in my life, why don't you stand up? I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. Let me hear you sing it loud now. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Well, no more struggle, no more strife. Let my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Well, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Well, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Hey, now. Well, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Well, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. That I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Hey.
Yeah! Yay, God, right? Yay, God. Thank you. Have a beautiful day, everyone.